I'm going to try to be brief because I think it's important to be brief. Back in 1997, Harriet Earhart, a member of the Texas legislature from Dallas, filed a bill to end bullying, particularly because of the hurt, both physical and mental and emotional, to GLBT youth in Texas, 1997. A group of us helped her then, and then she left the legislature. When she left the legislature, I picked up the bill and started filing it to try to pass it with the help of Equality Texas, which was then LGRL, and trying to make sure that we got this issue solved, because it clearly was having an impact on the children's lives. 1997. Here it is, where it was we'd have to get to 2011 before a piece of legislation to protect children from being harassed and hurt in their school. That's too long. And there were people who actively stopped it, actively made sure that it never got a hearing in the Education Committee. After the 3 deaths over the summer and last year, I said, maybe we're approaching this wrong, because I'm sitting up here and filing this bill and can't get it passed, can't even get a hearing from Eisler in the Public Ed Committee. So I said, look, clearly this is a public health issue, because we can deal with it as a discipline issue, but in the final analysis, if children are killing themselves, then it's the emotional trauma that is causing a problem for them enough to take their lives. But what about if they didn't take their lives? The emotional trauma will affect them for the rest of their lives. So that's when I wrote the suicide prevention bill, because it was very important to make sure that school officials and parents knew to look at the early warning signs of any emotional distress, but in particular because of harassment and bullying. And what I hope is that in combination with the bill that was passed on bullying, that these 2 bills come together to save lives. The next thing, when I got elected in 1991 with the support of this community, and I so remember, not just Asher Brown, not just Eric, but I so remember when Paul Broussard was killed. His mother started calling our office the first time any one of the group of people who were involved in that murder was up for parole. We started actually sending letters in 1994. And here we are, 2011, and the discussion is about whether a group of people who actually committed a murder should be paroled in that case. And I just don't think that should be the thing that is done. And Andy, of course, knows that. The last piece, hate crimes. Rodney did, and everyone did a great job. I just went into the legislature in '93 when the attempt to pass hate crimes occurred. And just like everywhere in this country, the idea is to have people from the GLBT community protected. But I want to talk to you about the T, because in no bill is there protection for transgendered individuals. I've been filing a bill to include transgendered people in the hate crimes bill. And it's very clear that because of that, we're not finished with our work until everyone is protected under the hate crimes legislation that we have. I am proud to be here. This is my legislative district. I'm proud to be a member of this community, and I'm proud that this community is honoring the people who have made the sacrifice for the rest of us to continue to live our lives free and without hindrance. We need to do everything we can to keep that from happening to other people. So, those are my remarks. And now I'm going to bring you the remarks from David and Amy Troung, the parents of Asher Brown. When a lot of this happened, I know there was a lot of news stories and everybody was doing whatever, but I can't imagine as a parent. I can't ever feel as a parent what it's like to lose your child and have your child murdered. I don't know how they have withstood this, and it's because the community has put their arms around them. So let me read their statement. First, we want to thank God for bringing everyone together today to honor the lives of so many in such a thoughtful way. Last September, we lost our son, Asher, to suicide as a result of bullying. Asher was a very intelligent and compassionate human being who appreciated the beauty of all those around him. Our hope is that the future people will come here, in the future, that people will come here and reflect on those things and the compassion and beauty. Asher also loved the outdoors and often helped us in the garden at home, which makes this tribute all the more fitting. The lives of all the people memorialized here were special. They had meaning and they had work. These tragedies never should have taken place, and we don't want any other families to go through the same sorrow as we and the other parents have who lost children due to a culture that breeds and nurtures violent and hurtful behavior. Lastly, we want to thank all the people who have supported us, prayed for us, and took the lessons that have come from our loss to heart and trying to create change in their own lives and in the lives of others. Out of these tragedies like ours, through the combined efforts of so many people, the great state of Texas now has the first ever comprehensive anti-bullying and suicide prevention laws. Together, we will move mountains. God bless Amy and David Troung, Asher's mom and dad. It's really a happy occasion. It's a happy occasion because victims who were not from the suburbs and whatever else, victims, they weren't victims. They were people who just got killed. Victims were somebody else. And I'm so glad that Andy's here and that we recognize that the victims are anyone who is a victim of a crime, and that it doesn't matter their race, ethnicity, gender, amount of money they have, or anything else, and that our government should work to protect them. And I'm glad we're here today recognizing that these victims are equal in their importance to everybody else in the state. Thank you for letting me be here.